Welcome to Stephanie B. Creativity. This is part 2 of my 2-part collaboration. Part 1 is the painting, and that was done over on Deliberately Creative. And if you want to see all the step-by-step how I did that, check that video out by clicking the iCard. If you are already past that, or you just want to see how to do fun wildflower embroidery, stick around. This is super simple embroidery stitches. We've got French knots, we have back stitch, we have a little bit of stem stitch, and lazy daisy stitch. So let's get started on embellishing the painting to end up with this fun, finished, mixed media work of art. I painted this painting using Derwent Inktense blocks for the painting, and then a little bit of white gouache to kind of spark it up just a little bit. I think this turned out really cool. What I'm going to do is some sort of weeds and flowers, doodling in with embroidery floss. I kind of like this idea. Now this is a stretched canvas. So there's about a 3/4 inch frame all the way around it. I'm just going to have fun. I think I'll probably be starting somewhere in the center here and working my way. I think there's enough texture in the background. I don't need to put any embroidery back here. I want to just do it all in the front. This is an embroidery stand. So it's a wooden stand. It adjusts on the bottom so that these little arms can go in and out. I think this is really solid in here, and I can tighten it down at whatever angle, and it's easy to flip it over and see what's going on the back side too. This is a combination of some cheap embroidery floss and some DMC floss. So, use what you got. I will be using my sharp embroidery needles. These are the thin, a narrow head, not a giant head. I've got some that are sharp that have a really long head, but the head is much bigger. This is almost the size of a tapestry needle, but it does have a sharp point. I like this much better. I'll be able to get three strands of embroidery floss through that right there. This is my sort of needle minder here. There's a magnet underneath of this cute little bunny. I want to put a few of these cool kind of sort of seed head flower weeds. So I'm going to go like this and say right here, and I'm going to take them up kind of big like that, and I'm going to pull one across like this, and like one like this. See how I'm just loosely sketching these in. There's a 3/4 inch frame all the way around, so I want the main part of my embroidery to be kind of higher and up here, and sort of let it fade into all the grasses down low. We'll see how it works out. I think I want to put a couple of these sort of lupin kind of looking, sort of, with the those little petals of the leaves that are sort of a starburst. I think I want to put, let's see, make sure that we're going to go like this, and like that. Those are for the leaves, and then it will be all in sort of knots, French knots probably for the flowers. Let's see, yeah, just got to be careful. Sort of like that. This is just being loose and not too worried about being perfect. My knots are going to be smaller than these dots. So where one dot is, there's probably going to be 2 or 3 knots. So I'm not going to be too too specific there. And maybe one more right here. A little bit lower, a little bit smaller. This is a General's white charcoal pencil. It is going to rub off, so, you know, if I'm working on this too long, I might end up rubbing off my picture. I don't think I'm going to be worried about that, though. I think that's pretty cool. I think I do need, because I've got 6 things on here now, I need 7. So maybe I will end up with maybe another one of these little weeds like that. There's going to be French knots on the ends of each of these little lines, and maybe a few extra French knots here and there. And I think I'm going to do the stem bits in either a stem stitch or a back stitch, and then a lot of French knots. I want to keep it super easy, super simple, and super fun. I think maybe this purple variegated for the lupins. I think that'll be pretty. Maybe the these little weedy ones are going to be in this cream. So purple lupin, cream, and maybe a little bit of white for here and there. And some of that green, I think, for the leaves. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and I want to get the biggest part of the outlining done. And I'm going to do, like I said, do the outlining on these weeds with this sort of creamy yellow color. I want to get part of this started. I want to get at least one of these weeds completely done and one of these lupins completely done. And then I'm going to take this camping and finish it while I'm camping, and then just put up a little bit of video with it all done, because I think that you'll get the idea once I've shown you what I'm doing. I'm just grabbing some of this yellowy color. I'm going to, I took off about 3 feet. I'm going to fold it in half so I have 18-inch pieces, and I'm going to break this into 3s. So, because this is 6 strand. I think one of the other reasons why I wanted to get this started and show you what I'm doing and then turn off the camera. So I want to listen to an audiobook that I've been listening to on YouTube, and I can't do that while I'm recording. I'm just going to fold the end over the tip of the needle and push that folded bit through the eye. And look at that, it's already threaded. This is the easiest way I have found to thread a needle. I'm just going to, whoop, there we go. So here, now I am going to try and get as close to the bottom as I can. So I'm doing kind of a stem stitch, I guess. I don't want to get my stitches too close to each other because I don't want to tear through the stretched canvas. I don't know. I've never done embroidery on a stretched canvas before. It's actually working pretty well. Stem stitch is kind of like a back stitch, except that on a back stitch, I would be coming up in this hole here instead of coming up along the side, and I'm coming up along a side. I wanted to do this stitch because it is a little more textured when you're doing something. I'm taking kind of large stitches because, like I said, I didn't want to end up tearing through this fabric. I'm going to go ahead and do a back stitch here on these. So you can see a back stitch, you go forward from the last stitch that you did, and you line up so that you're coming back in, whoops, to the hole in behind. So now one of the things here I'm noticing is when I push up through, it is folding that gesso back and causes like little white spots. So I have to be a little bit more careful of where I am putting my needle. Now I'm going to move over to another stem here. I think it's going to be a little bit lower. I'm making this up as I go. Just because I have lines drawn on does not mean that I have to follow those lines. So I'm going to take this back like this and just sort of drop it down here. Then I'm going to go over just a little bit and I'm going to work my way up. Let's see, maybe not exactly the same size. I don't really want to line up all of my holes where I'm stitching. I want them to be a little bit more freeform. These wildflowers or wildflower seed heads are like umbrellas that have been blown out, you know, upside down. So if you think about it that way, you've got the ribs of your umbrella blown the wrong direction. So a cool thing with embroidery floss is that you can, adjust things. So I'm going back through my stem and I'm going just underneath and wrapping those stitches. Maybe not every single stitch, maybe skipping 2 stitches. So I can kind of get this all smoothed out a little bit. All right, I'm going to let this just sort of hang out down here for right now. This is a creamy white. It's not a bright white. So 4 strands of embroidery floss, roll it around my finger, pull it nice and tight. I've got a knot in the end. I'm going to come up, wrap 1, 2, 3, and then go down next to, but not in the exact same hole. There we go. I'm going to come up. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, next to, but not in the exact same hole. And then I'm going to come up, and I'm not even worried about lining it up with any of the embroidered lines. This one's going to be lined up with an embroidered line. I need to be careful about poking this needle through. In spots. I need it to be 1, 2, 3. Look at that. Right, I've got this piece that was the 2 strands. I'm going to just fold it over. So I'm actually sewing with 4 strands. It's just going to be shorter because I just want to finish this flower. Not kind of fun. All right, let's do this little lupin foxglove, whatever it is, right here. And I think that one I'm going to go ahead and do the green parts first. I'm not sure what color green this is. Just, you know, it's just a green that will show up. Look at that. Got it all. 6 strands. Kind of push my way through down here. So what I'm doing there, so I am pushing the needle underneath of this wood right here so it comes out. Right here at the base of that flower. And then I'm going to do a split stitch. So I'm going to go back through. Oopsie. Sometimes your embroidery floss will hang up in a knot. Just take your time and you can get those knots out. Now I'm coming back up about halfway down that stitch in the middle of the threads. Make kind of a long stitch. About halfway down the stitch and up through the middle of the threads, like that. Just like that. And then come back up through the middle of those whoopsies. So now this is where you have to be careful. I might have to put some extra little French knots of different colors or things like that. Up through the middle, back down. This is a sturdy kind of stitch. And then I'm going to do some leaves as I get to the bottom of my stem here, or the base of my flowers. I'm going to put some kind of like lazy daisy flowers. So you pull the loop back, go back down through. At the end of that petal or leaf, you come up in the middle of that loop and then stitch it down. So now I'm going to come back up, hold on to the thread, go back down in basically the same spot that you came up in. At the end of that petal or leaf, come back up and tack that loop down. And tack it down. Now I'm going to grab some of this purple variegated embroidery floss. I'm going to break this so that it is 4 strands. So take 2 out. I'm going to start at the tip and work my way down. I like this painting, so I'm excited to have more time to play in this little landscape. So I've tied a knot at the end. I'm going to come up through like this. And I'm going to start doing 3s. All right, so here we go. There's my little lupin with the split stitch for the stem, lazy daisy stitch for the leaves, and French knots for the flowers. And on my Queen Anne's lace, whatever weed that goes here, it was a stem stitch that I went back and wrapped my thread around, and back stitch for the actual little fingers, and French knots for all of the little seed pods at the ends of the little fingers. I'm going to take this, finish embroidering it, and show you what it looks like when it's all done. Friends, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you found some value in learning how to do these stitches on a stretched canvas, please click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you'll be notified when new videos come up. I am really excited by all of the possibilities that we can have with embroidering on stretched canvas and paintings. Something I did notice when I was working on here, though, you have to be careful when you're poking your needle through a primed stretch canvas, because you can end up with little flakes of the paint surface popping up. There. See, I just popped that one away. Remember, go out, do something creative, take care of yourself, and be kind. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.